So an Eastern Conference threat to the Philadelphia 76ers has actually now become one of the most interested teams in terms of a Ben Simmons trade. Apparently, Daryl Morey tried to pull a fast one on him yesterday, and these rumors just continue to swirl. Things are heating up as we are just days away from the NBA draft. Let's talk about it. Perfect. What is going on, everybody? RB here. Welcome back on into Philly Take with RB. Yes, that is right. We are back from vacation. It feels good to be back in the studio, and you guys already know what to do, man. If you are enjoying the content on this channel, be sure to smash that like button. Take 1 second. Help your boy out. It really helps push this content out on YouTube. Be sure to subscribe to the channel if you are new and hit that notification bell. That way you are instantly notified anytime I upload or go live. You will literally get notified just like that. One more thing before we get into the video. If you guys have not yet, be sure to check out the first ever Philly Take with RB merch store. The Teesprings link is down in the description. Go check it out. We have hoodies, shirts, crew necks, mugs, phone cases, anything else you can think of on the first ever launch. And we have different designs, so be sure to check it out. If you guys did not notice, I have an actual care package at my house that came when I was gone. And you can see I got my Yes Sir merch right here with the fire on the shirt, and we have the mug on standby. That is right. Get your mugs, get your shirts, help support the channel. All right, let's talk about this. So Ben Simmons has now been linked, that is right, to the Toronto Raptors. Okay, so the Raptors have emerged as a serious team in Ben Simmons conversations, and a lot is coming out over the past 24 hours that we will talk about. But first and foremost, let me just, step back and give my thoughts on this. Look, man, the Toronto Raptors are a team in the Eastern Conference that, they had a bad year, but a lot of things went on, right? All this situation that was going on, the Raptors had to play in Florida, right? They had a lot of sickness. They had guys getting hurt, and it was just a tough year for them to really kind of locate who they were as a team. But let's be honest, the Toronto Raptors are a team that pisses us Sixers fans off. We don't want to play them. We've had some bad moments against them, and they're just that pesky, annoying team that you do not want to play. And, we really don't want to do business with them either, because it could come back to haunt us. And that's kind of where I'm at, right? The Toronto Raptors are going to be just fine next year, in my opinion. They have the 4th overall pick. That could turn into a Jalen Suggs or someone like that. They're going to find a suitor for Kyle Lowry and probably get compensation back. They're going to find some free agents, and their young talent is going to work its way up. And Nick Nurse is a great coach, and they have a good organization and a good fan base. So the Toronto Raptors are going to be just fine, in my opinion, and they'll be back in contention next year. Now, in terms of that, the Sixers offering Ben Simmons to the Toronto Raptors is scary for me. That's my honest opinion on this. I tweeted out a couple weeks ago, just as to kind of get a laugh, but also being serious at the same time. I want to trade Ben Simmons. I'm just like the rest of you, except for the Ben Simmons fanboys. I want to trade Ben Simmons. I want to get him out of here as quick as possible. I want an all-star talent, an elite guard, a guy who can create his own shot and facilitate the floor and just, shoot from 40 feet out. Just drop 30 on any given night. That is the type of player that we have all been searching for, and we want it to happen, and we're putting our trust up in Daryl Morey. At the same time, Ben Simmons, I am not sending him to the Toronto Raptors. That is the one team I do not want to send Ben Simmons to. That would be like sending him to the Boston Celtics. I don't want him to stay in this conference. I don't want him to stay on a team that could be a competitor, a team that we could see in the second round next year in the playoffs. Why? Although he would probably be an offensive liability, I just have a feeling, in a place like Toronto with a great fan base who's going to, really back him. He's got some of his friends. I mean, one of his best friends is Nav, an artist that is from Toronto. And Ben Simmons, I just have a feeling he would start shooting the ball. I have a feeling he would become the next, compare him to whatever great player you want if he went to the Toronto Raptors. And somehow, some way, maybe it's just a Philly thing. Maybe I'm just being paranoid. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But I really have a feeling it would come back to bite us. I really do. I could just see it happening. I could see the story playing out. The one team I don't want to send Ben Simmons to is the Toronto Raptors, okay? Send him out west. Send him to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Send him to the Portland Trailblazers. Keep him out of the Eastern Conference. And that's just where I'm at with it. I don't want that to happen. I really don't. And I just don't know. But you know, the Toronto Raptors, even some fans from the Raptors that I know, even some people that follow this channel, even my guy, shout out to Luca Rosano, who covers the Raptors every single day. He doesn't want Ben Simmons. Why? Because it doesn't fit on their team. They don't want to bank on that potential. And speaking of banking on that potential, Daryl Morey, he tried to come out and absolutely pull a fast one on the Toronto Raptors. So before we get to the trade offer, a couple days ago, Mark Stein, NBA reporter, was on a podcast, and this is what he said about the interest in Ben Simmons. He said, Minnesota, Cleveland, Sacramento, Indiana, all those teams have been linked with Ben. Toronto is another team I've heard that has expressed some interest in trying to find a way to get Ben. If Daryl Morey finally finds a deal he likes, he's just going to get traded, and he has to be ready for whatever it is. And we heard, you know, there was significant interest. And then yesterday, this trade proposal was apparently made by Daryl Morey. Now, you know, we are at that point in the year where there is a lot of things going around. You have to really be careful on what you are reading and what you are saying, because a lot of people want to put a lot of different things out, and you really have to locate, right? But if there is any validity to this, I don't know if there is. If there is any validity to this, you know, if there's any truth to it, which it's kind of hard for me to see. I mean, this is the first Ben Simmons potential trade offer that we've heard from the Sixers side. Instead, you know, there's going to be offers coming in. This is the first one we heard from the Sixers side, and the Raptors have significant interest in Ben Simmons, and this was the package that the Sixers had proposed. Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, and a first-round pick for Simmons. But apparently there was an update, as you see, and now this is the package that Daryl Morey apparently requested. Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, OG Anunoby, and the 4th overall pick in the draft for Ben Simmons, and it was rejected by Toronto. Now, my first and foremost reaction is, of course it's going to be rejected. What are we thinking here, right? Like, is this some kind of joke? Is this Daryl really trying to, you know, go over the ledge a little bit and start this high? Sure, he's going to do that when it comes to Ben Simmons, but then I started to think, Daryl Morey's actually on the same wavelength that I'm on. We don't want to trade Ben Simmons to a team who could be one of our competitors in the East. We don't want to give a team like Toronto, especially with a coach like Nick Nurse, the defensive talent of Ben Simmons. And you know, there's a couple ways that this trade could work out. But honestly, I really think Daryl is thinking in the same way that I am, in that, you know, he's just going to raise the bar so high that it's, you know, Toronto's just going to hang up the phone. Just how Masai Ujiri stood pat at the trade deadline. I think he's going to obviously stand pat here, because it just wouldn't make sense, right? I mean, we're asking for Fred VanVleet, right? A young guard who can create a shot and knock it down from deep. We're asking for Kyle Lowry, who obviously, you know, a lot of teams have interest in, and, you know, we would try to acquire him and sign him, who would be a great point guard for us that we couldn't get at the deadline. OG Anunoby, a young 3-and-D guy, the 4th overall pick that could turn into another great guard. I mean, come on, man. We know that's not going to happen. The Raptors would not bank on the potential of Ben Simmons for all of that. I mean, that's a lot of the guys who play, you know, serious minutes with the Toronto Raptors, and it just wouldn't make sense. At the end of the day, if there is any truth to this, I really think it's Daryl Morey saying, we're not trading Ben Simmons to you unless you want to be so stupid to go as far to give us a massive haul that really would not make sense. As a Sixers fan, you know, you can acknowledge that. Like, that is way too much for Ben Simmons. And then another thing I'm hearing, which has absolutely been a great laugh over the last couple of days, you know, my DMs are getting flooded. Well, would you do Pascal Siakam for Ben Simmons? Listen. No disrespect to Pascal Siakam. He's a good player. He's a solid player who will give you 21 a night. But Pascal Siakam literally showed this last season he cannot be the alpha dog. He is not the alpha. He's not that guy. And in addition to that, He shot 29% from three. So we want to replace a forward like at that point, you might as well keep Ben Simmons' defense on this team if you're going to want to bring in a guy like Pascal Siakam, okay? We have our own version of Pascal Siakam. His name is Tobias Harris. We don't need another player like that. Some people just absolutely crack me up, and it's a hard no to Pascal Siakam. And, you know, that's one of the only routes that this trade could get done on. Other than that, I mean, I guess you could do a sign and trade for Kyle Lowry. And then in terms of Fred VanVleet, I just don't view the Raptors as potentially trying to give him up. So there's a lot that goes into it, man. But it's just going to be hard to get a deal done unless it's probably for Kyle Lowry, in my opinion. Daryl Morey, you know, he's a baller. He's a high swinger. He's going to ask for the most, and teams are going to try to negotiate, and maybe it'll come to a point where it's just like, you know, either some team will budge on the potential of Ben Simmons, or the Sixers might end up taking a little bit less, or they might end up keeping him. I don't know, man, but the draft coming up in a few days, there's a lot that we have to survey and look at. Something may even happen on draft night. I can't wait. We are going to be covering it all here on the channel. Couple more videos in the next couple days. We'll be streaming the draft on Thursday. I cannot wait to see what happens. What will the Sixers do? We will find out. But I want to hear from you guys down below in the comment section, because I'm an absolute no on Ben Simmons of the Raptors. You let me know all your thoughts. Would you ever consider trading Ben Simmons within the conference to the Toronto Raptors? What would your potential trade package look like? Give me all your thoughts down below in the comment section. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will catch you on the next one. Peace.
Perfect.